Hello and welcome. You're still watching the Nile Cruise on RTV International. Reading is the gateway for knowledge, creativity, and the personal growth. In today's digital age, many people have drifted away from the traditional reading habits. And to address this, Egypt has launched several initiatives aimed at encouraging a return to books and promoting the reading culture. And we are very pleased to be joined with Mr. Ahmed Salah Eddin, a distinguished writer and advocate for the literacy. Hello and welcome on Nile TV, Mr. Ahmed.
Hello, nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure having you on Nile TV International.
Oh, me too.
Mr. Ahmed, why do you think people have moved away from reading recently? Why?
Actually, there are several reasons, and this is not related to the cultural scene in Egypt only, because it's a trend, a global trend. Because as you know, the this evolution of social media and as you've just said, the changing of habits, reading habits for people, and the tools that are used by the youth and different generations actually to have access to different texts are now many, abundant tools
Hmm.
to be able to read texts. So and you even see that the magazines, traditional magazines, journals, newspapers are totally, or maybe for 90% neglected, because people are reading online, reading on websites, on applications, and they are reading on PDFs as well. So this is one.
Hmm.
And but of Twitter,
Hmm.
especially Twitter,
Hmm.
people start to think in tweets,
Yes.
just short text, 140 letters or something like that. So this kind of thinking led to a change, total change in the culture of getting access to text. Now there is a revolution,
Yes.
a total revolution, because the shift changed into reels
Yes.
and mini videos.
Yes.
So this change actually influenced how people think of reading right now, and the introduction of audiobooks as well.
Hmm.
So we cannot say that the traditional reading habits are totally ignored, but it's now maybe um, um, in its decline. It's in decline because people prefer to listen to texts,
Yes.
to see synopsis of the book. They make video articles about the books, so people prefer this to reading a whole book.
Okay, Mr. Ahmed, how important is reading for the personal development in your point of view and the growth of the society as whole?
This is actually one of the questions of my life, because I used to write papers
Yeah, sure.
on this topic. Reading, the human brain uh, thinking is related to uh, reading, and basically related to language, and how the brain gets the language
Yes,
through reading.
yeah, sure.
So when you read, you have words. When you have words, you can think, and every single word has its own concept.
Mm-hmm.
So the cognitive ability of a human being is actually made by language,
Yes, sure.
is made by reading.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do not read enough texts, you are limited in your cognitive capabilities.
Yes, sure.
And I can add something more above this, that reading elevates the quality of the human being.
Yeah, sure.
Because, for instance, if you have a problem with your child and you behave innately with him, naturally,
Mm-hmm.
you may commit mistakes.
Yes.
But when you read a psychology book about how to deal, how to handle your child, you will be able to take a deep breath
Yes.
and then behave in the best way with your child to get the best result out of this,
Sure.
and not rush into immediate result of your action, and develop some kind of methodology to get the best result for what you are intending to teach your child.
Hmm. Mr. Ahmed, let us talk about the reading initiatives launched recently in Egypt and how they have been received by the public.
Actually, we have the
Yes.
book fair, and I've seen thousands of people
Yes.
from different generations, and
Mm.
it was a surprise for me actually,
Yes.
because I um, I have an open dialogue with different generations about reading, because this is one of my life concerns, to see how the um, consumption of content is um is done through different generations.
Hmm.
And what I've seen in the book fair was actually very positive.
Yes.
And I've seen so many applications introduced in the book fair.
Hmm.
So many books, so many companies are trying to introduce the audiobooks.
Okay, Mr. Ahmed, what are the some key reading initiatives launched recently in Egypt and how they have been received by the public?
I can give you a prominent example, which is Shahrazad Initiative. It's based on the storytelling style of Shahrazad
Shahrazad
herself.
initiative.
Yes.
Okay.
Shahrazad, the character that was telling Shahrayar the Thousand and One Nights, in the Thousand and One Nights, she was telling stories, and to get him entangled, engaged, to let her live. And she's gaining life night, every night. And she saved all women, and consequently humanity, by these stories. So Shahrazad is based on the storytelling. We use the storytelling process to attract all ages back to stories, by small text, by audio, podcast, by documentaries, and then at the end we lead them to books, to read books. Because as I've just told you, that reading, the actual reading, the touch of the book, the when you see and get in direct contact with the word printed, this actually helps you develop your intellectual capabilities. So we're trying to use all possible mediums, or in different modules, to encourage people of different ages and different generations to get back to reading, and the results are brilliant.
Okay, and you talked also about the Cairo International Book Fair. You
Yes,
told me that, yeah?
I've been there. I attended many seminars and discussions about different books. Actually, it's I feel so optimistic actually about the cultural scene in Egypt, because I have seen so many new voices, writers, male and female writers in different generations. And the good thing about them is that they made their own paths. They choose very unique topics. Some of them talk about ancient Egypt, about cultural peculiarities of Egypt, about the stories of women, about Islamic Cairo. Um, Very interesting topics, and they make me feel very optimistic, because I thought some years ago that actually we are missing new voices, and what I've seen this year actually made me optimistic about the cultural scene.
How can the schools and the educational institutions play a strong role to foster, to bring back the reading habit?
actually they they play initial role because they are the primary places that the child is introduced to the world, because they are introduced to different people in their age and to the teaching stuff. So they play some kind of role model for them, and the practice they have in the classes actually formulate their reading habits. So if the schools focus on developing the reading skills with every child, I think, I'm sure that this will be a long-lasting habit that will accompany the child all his life.
Mr. Ahmed, let me ask you the last question. How has the publishing industry in Egypt adopted these efforts to encourage the reading, in your point of view? Do you see there is any initiatives?
I see that publishing houses are trying to do their best because they have also some kind of commercial interest. They want to sell more books. So they are trying to push ahead their books, their writers, to be introduced to an ever increasing readers. Uh, but actually, they could not do this alone. They need some kind of uh, national and governmental initiatives to help them have collaborative activities, just like the book fair. The book fair actually is wonderful, is a wonderful initiative in itself, and the fact that it's being held every year at the same time. This is an achievement. Yes, and I've been told that 2 or 3 millions visited the book fair, and this is fabulous actually. At this time, and the prices are very high of books. I've seen people with uh, big bags. Yes.
Mr. Ahmed Salahuddin, a distinguished writer and advocate for literacy, thank you so much for being with us on ITV
Thank
International.
you.
It
The
has
pleasure
been
is
a
mine.
pleasure. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and a short break and we'll be back.